Hello and welcome back to another FPL video, and of course this video is the team selection video where I talk about my team selection ahead of game week 29, or should I say double game week 29. Now I've got a couple of transfers in mind, but I also have a few injury concerns, so I need to talk about that and decide whether to go with some extra hits or maybe just change my transfers around, as I do have quite a headache, which is quite annoying ahead of the double game week. But before I go through my team selection for game week 29, let's look back at how I got on in game week 28. So then, let's go through how I got on in game week 28 then, and well, you can see it right there. It was shocking. It was so shocking. It was poor. I hated it. It was so hard to watch. Yeah, it was a terrible day. Match of the day wasn't easy to watch, put it that way. So I got 42 points overall. Took a red arrow. Was not my week at all. I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for a differential again on the captaincy, and this time, yet again, it didn't pay off at all. I should have just gone for Saka like everybody else. That would have gave me nearly 60 points, just under, and put me around about the same rank I was before, so bit frustrating that is. So let's go through the team, if we must. So as you see, goalkeeper wise, 2 points on my bench with Raya. Kind of expected that, to be honest. Didn't think Brentford would keep a clean sheet against Leicester, so no surprise there. But Kepa, who started, I fully expected Chelsea to win 2, maybe 3-0 against the Everton team that doesn't know how to score goals. They somehow scored 2 goals, and they scored the second one right at the end. So I even had an extra point taken off me right at the end. It just sums it up, really. So all from the goalkeepers. Defenders, I mean, look at that. It was not the week to play 5 at the back, clearly. Friggin' awful that was. Newcastle started the week off on the Friday night, and what do? They concede straight away to Forest. Yes, Forest are decent at home, but Jesus Christ, you concede straight away. When you got 2 Newcastle defenders at the back, yeah, wasn't great. I was hoping that they'll get a goal or assist in the game. I mean, more Dan Burn, but the only thing Dan Burn actually gave me was a yellow card, so even then he lost a point. So before our game has even kicked off on the Saturday, I've had 3 players done with. So obviously they started with 10. 2 players been used already. Oh, and they only got 3 points. It's just shocking. You already know then you're gonna have a terrible week. So then you go on to Henry. Like I said before, I weren't expecting a clean sheet, and I was right. And I just got 2 points from him. So there's not really much to say there. He's only like a 4.5 million player. He's usually somebody you'd put on your bench, so 2 points from him. There's nothing more to say really about him. Zinchenko, though, on the other hand, I fully expected Arsenal to win 4-0, if anything. I weren't expecting Palace to score because they can't score either. They've sacked their manager. I weren't expecting anything in terms of attacking, and they go and score anyway. Every time I start Zinchenko, he concedes, and every time I put him on the bench, he gets a clean sheet. It's just irritating. So yeah, he's annoyed me there. And then finally, my captain, my star player, my Reece James, who's now also got an injury worry, got me 3 points. So I got doubled to 6. It was actually on course for a nice return with a clean sheet in that. But Chelsea conceded. Reece James got a yellow card. He gets the assist though for the penalty. I think he can get in there, get an assist. Then they concede again. So realistically, it was shocking all round. It could have been so much better, but it turned out to be just terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, if he didn't get that assist, I would have ended up with no points, really. So, really, really frustrating Reece James is. And obviously, of course, now he might not be fit to play in 29. We'll yet to hear, but that one did not pay off at all. Should have gone, well, I was going to say, should have gone Ben Chilwell, but I wouldn't have had Chilwell as my captain, put it that way. So yeah, defenders, poor. Midfield wise, I mean, I only had 2 play. One of them outscored my whole defence. So obviously Saka, he absolutely smashed it, which is frustrating. So he obviously got the 2 goals. He got an assist as well, 3 bonus points. He absolutely killed it, and he wasn't my captain. So I couldn't even enjoy any of it, which is really frustrating. If he was my captain, I would have been loving every minute of it, but he wasn't. And yes, I get the 18 points, but everybody else got an extra 18 points on top of it, which is the main reason why my rank's so far down. So yeah, really frustrating. Great that he got 18, but it would have been so much better. It would have been actually enjoyable if I had him as captain. And alongside him, his fellow teammate Odegaard, 2 points. He was more of a differential. I think people have been selling him, but just 2 points. Terrible. Disappointing. And then finally, my strikers. I mean, obviously, I didn't go for the transfer on Haaland. I've decided to keep him, which looks like it might not pay off at all because he came out of international with an injury, and if he ain't fit for the Liverpool game, I'm gonna be so annoyed because I could have had Watkins in my team who got an assist, only assist, but still 5 points he would have got me extra. The fact is, he might be injured. It's gonna really irritate me. So yeah, nothing for obviously Haaland. Harry Kane missed the consistency. He got in the goal. I mean, obviously his team overall was shocking, but he always gets the goal in. So 6 points for him. Obviously, he was one of the main people captain. So if everybody captained him, I wouldn't have been too fussed because it would have been only an extra 6. But yeah, missed the consistency, gets another goal. And then finally, Ivan Toney. I mean, he didn't get a yellow card. That's the only bonus I can think of that. Because he's the one we're all worrying about. One more yellow card, he's out for 2 games. So I mean, on one hand, it's great, but maybe on the other hand, it probably would have been better if he did get a yellow card. So then I know for sure he's out for the double game week. But again, it's going to be next week. It's going to be that. Oh God, hopefully he doesn't get yellow in the first game. But yeah, 2 points for Toney. Bit disappointing. I mean, I would have liked him to have scored. Obviously, when you see that Brentford has scored, you think straight away, oh, Toney's got a goal. But unfortunately, it was not him. And he didn't even get the assist for it either. So overall, a really rubbish week, and it always happens to me just on the international break. So then the whole time I have to stare at this red arrow now. So last time it was the World Cup one. This next up it's this week. Oh, it's just frustrating. So yeah, hopefully Game Week 29 is going to be a much better week for me. Then let's look at something a little bit more positive then and look at my team selection or my plans for Game Week 29. Now I do have 2 free transfers for this game week. I had 2 last week. I decided to use the one, go for the gamble, and have 2 for this week, and I'm hoping it pays off. At the minute, looking at my team, it doesn't look great. I should have probably gone for 2 last week, but I've got 2 for this week, and hopefully it pays off. Now, as you can see clearly, goalkeeper-wise, I've gone for the same 2. It'll be silly of me to obviously make a change in my goalkeepers. Obviously, I am looking at having the bench boost being used for this game week, just because I've looked at the double game weeks that got announced ahead for game week 34 and that, and finding enough players to get in your double game weeks to play, I'm really struggling. So this is probably the best time that I can actually do a bench boost for my team. So obviously that's looking like my option. So I will have both my goalkeepers double game week in. Both Brentford and Chelsea have 2 games for this game week. So I'm going to stick with these 2 as my goalkeepers. Onto my defenders now, and well, we saw how shocking these 5 were in 28. I'm praying that they do a lot better in 29. 4 of these players have double game weeks. Obviously, Brentford, Chelsea, and Newcastle all have doubles. I'm hoping for a much better performance. Zinchenko's got Leeds at home, which is a decent one, so that's why I'm more leaning towards keeping him, if anything. Out of the 5, as you can clearly see, I have an issue with one of them. Reece James played like 5 minutes for England the other day. Came out of international early. Didn't play the second game because he had a niggle or the same kind of injury. I'm going to be so vexed if he's out for this game against Villa. Really annoyed. And the annoying thing about it is about Chelsea at the late kickoff on Saturday night. So I might not even get the team news before the deadline. And that's going to really irk me. I'm hoping Potter really clarifies in his press conference beforehand if he's going to play or not, because I need to know. If Reece James ain't playing against Aston Villa, I'm going to have to make a transfer. Now, I've already made 2 in this draft that I've got on here, so it will be a hit for me if I have to take him out. But there's no way, even if he plays 1 game, I want to keep him, because Liverpool at home is a less likely fixture for Chelsea to really keep a clean sheet, so there's no chance I'm just going to have him for 1 game, and that's going to be against Liverpool. So I will be looking to replace him if, in fact, he is out for the Villa game. Obviously, with the rest of them, they're going to be staying in. Newcastle, I mean, Man United at home's tough. I'm expecting revenge. I'm expecting a clean sheet there. Whether I get one's another thing. West Ham away, it's not the easiest double to be fair, but I'm kind of hoping on one hand that they do keep a clean sheet there as well. Well, am I expecting it? No, but yeah, just hoping. And then obviously Henry with Brentford, it's tough. Brighton away is tough. Man United away is tough. Yeah, doesn't sound great, does it? So although four of them have got double game weeks, the only one I'm actually confident about keeping a clean sheet is Zinchenko, who's only got the one game. So next up, I'm going a bit different here. So I'm going to talk about my strikers before my midfielders, because these two free transfers I've got, I'm pre-planning to use them on my midfielders. So I figured we'll talk about the strikers first, and then we'll talk about my midfield. So first up's Ivan Toney, and again, like I mentioned before about Brentford, they've got a real tough double game week. Both of them are away. It's Brighton and Man United. I mean, he can score goals any day of the week, Ivan Toney. So there is that. So I'm less worried about him than I am defensively. But this could potentially be the last game week that I have Toney. If he gets this yellow card, he's going to be out for 30 anyway. I mean, I might just take him out of my team because they've got a tough run at the end of the season. So it might not be worth keeping him. So this could be my last week for Ivan Toney. So let's hope for some hauls here. So yeah, he's got a tough one. Erling Haaland, I mean, I kept him in my team. I believe he will score goals against Liverpool. Let's face it, he's an unbelievable goal scorer. I think he can outscore people on double game weeks. A lot of people went for like Ollie Watkins or Havertz ahead of for this game week. I've so far clung on to Haaland. Now if he's out for this Liverpool game, it's going to be a real sucker punch for me, because obviously I've just mentioned the fact that if Reece James is out, I'm going to take him out, and if Haaland's out, I'm going to have no choice really and look at taking him out, because I want to optimise my bench boost, and it might have to be taking out Erling Haaland, and I don't want to do it, but I might be left with no choice. Obviously, he's only priced at 12 million right now, so I get 11.7 out of him, so I only lose 0.3 out of him, but I want to keep him ideally, so I'm hoping, praying that he's fit for this Liverpool game, because I don't want to make another transfer which is going to involve a hit as well as. So hoping he starts. And then finally, Harry Kane. I'm keeping him for this game week. He's got a single game week. It's Everton away, but it's Harry Kane. As much as I don't like him, the guy just scores all the time, and you can't argue that. I can't ignore that anyway. Like, he's the same price as Erling Haaland for me, 11.7. Obviously, if I wanted to chuck him out of my team, I could bring anybody else. But like I said, the issue, I've got a lot of players. There's 2 players that I'm looking at taking out, and there's 3 players that I've currently got that might not be able to play. So obviously, he is quite far down on my list of people that might be coming out of my team soon. So hopefully, I'm expecting him to score against Everton. I mean, saying that, I'm going to be wrong, but I can see goals from him. He's just missing consistency, so I expect not many goals. I'm expecting like one goal or 1 assist really from Kane, but yeah, not expecting a lot, but I'm hoping we'll get some points out of him. So, and this is my midfield for game week 29. Obviously, it's not confirmed. This is my plans for my midfield for game week 29. So, Saka and Odegaard are going to be out, my Arsenal midfield, which is it's a real tough decision to do, because Saka, obviously, the weekend Saka's just had, just smashed it for Arsenal, 2 goals and assists, smashes it for England the other day. It's really hard to get rid of him, but I've gone for it for now. And obviously Odegaard's been sensational this season as well. I mean, Arsenal have been great overall, so it's always going to be hard to take out an Arsenal player. But I'm bringing in, at the minute, my idea is anyway, to bring in Bowen and Maddison. West Ham are at home, both their double game week fixtures. So obviously they've got Newcastle in their second game, and their first game Southampton, which is a real nice fixture. And then obviously Leicester's got Crystal Palace. It is away, but like I say, it's not about whether they win or lose. It's about whether they can get points. And I do think Maddison can get points against Crystal Palace. And then their second game is at home to Villa. And we all saw that game recently, about a couple months ago, where it was like 4-2. So there could be, hopefully it'll be the same, so there'll be loads of points in it, hopefully, if it's Maddison, that'd be great. So that's my idea to bringing them 2 in, whereas the Arsenal players have just got Leeds, just the one game. They can do well against Leeds, they can smash against Leeds, but you always want a double game week, especially when you're thinking about bench boosting as well. So that's why I got those two currently as my ideal players to bring in. Then I got my Brighton boys, I got McAllister, Mitoma. I have thought about bringing March in as well as, but for now I've just gone for these two. So obviously Brighton, they've got Brentford at home, which is a tough fixture to be fair, but then they've got that Bournemouth fixture away. It is away, which is tough, but Brighton are playing really well, and I do think they can do something there. And then obviously my last player is another one who's highlighted as 75% fit, and it's Marcus Rashford. And it's really frustrating because it's giving me a headache, a big headache. He looks alright on holiday, so he might play at the weekend. But if he doesn't, then I've got a big headache on my hands. So it would change my plans. So what I can do is I can take Rashford out and just bring in Maddison. I can do something like that and then keep one of the Arsenal players in. Or I can do something like bring in Fernandes for Rashford, take out Saka, and then either go for Bowen and Maddison and go like that. It's a tough one because then I've got Reece James who might not play, so I'm thinking about taking him out. Who I'd go for so far out of all the guys who got double game weekers, Brighton have probably a nice one, but do I want to go for a Brighton defender? I don't, because Brighton's fixtures after in the future aren't the easiest. So defensively, I don't think they'll do great. Maybe go for a Luke Shaw instead of Reece James. He's got a double game week. He's cheaper than Reece James, so I have a bit of money there as well. So that might have to be done. Then I've got Erling Haaland to go on top of all this. If he's not fit, who am I going to bring in instead? My initial reaction is Kai Havertz, but again, he's flagged up as well as, which is really frustrating there. So then who do I go for? Do I go for Ollie Watkins? I mean, he's got Chelsea away his first game, then he's got Leicester away. It's 2 away games. I don't know if I want 2 away games on a player. I mean, yes, he could do well, but at the same end, he could do poorly. Or do I go for maybe a gamble on Danny Ings? Would he play both games? Like I said, they're both at home. Do I go double West Ham? It's a tough one. It's really tough. There's so many possibilities that could happen from now until the deadline. I've got so many. It's because these flagged up players are really screwing me over here. So if they weren't flagged up, it'll be straightforward. Maddison, Bowen, pretty much done. But because I've got these players flagged up, I have to look at other possibilities. And then obviously with the future fixtures coming up as well, I have to look at that as well as, like I just said, Brighton's, theirs aren't exactly the best. They do have a double game week, another double game week to be planned as well as, but I don't want to bring a third player in because their fixtures aren't exactly the easiest. Brentford's aren't exactly the easiest either, so I'm already looking at possibly taking them out in the future, but I can't take them out right now because obviously they've got the double game week, which isn't the best, but it's a double game week. So anyway, after all that, that's how my team is looking possibly for game week 29. Obviously, from the sounds of it, it's going to change a lot by the deadline. We'll have to wait and see what the press conferences are like. But yeah, I like Maddison. I like Bowen. I could take in -8 easily if I'm being honest. I know a lot of people are talking about maybe going from -8 to -12. It's double game week weekend, so people are going to do stuff like that. It's worth it sometimes. Sometimes it's not, but you never know. So that's how my team is currently looking right now. And there you have it. That is my team selection for the double game week in 29. And as you can see, we've learned nothing. There's still so much that can happen till the deadline, so nothing's going to be set in stone. Anything can happen. Things can change. But I did like the look of it. Hopefully we'll get news before the deadline of certain players, whether they're fit enough to play. But we'll have to wait and see. I do hope you like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.